guys, don't be grim because I'm dreary, and today I'm going to be taking a look at your guys' OCs and giving them the criticism I believe they deserve. Now, I really enjoyed the OCs in this one, and whenever I say something, it's only meant to give a little bit of advice. Now, to find which OCs I was going to use, I went to my Discord and asked them a few questions, namely to pick a number, and these were the numbers they chose. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so for the first OC we're looking at is Jordan. He's 19 and is trans, female to male. His height is 5'11", and he weighs 163. His species is a part demon, part elf, and he enjoys hugging, cuddling shorter people. They feel as though they're able to protect them. Then toxicity in friendships is what they dislike. Their favorite food is hamburgers, and their least favorite food is asparagus. On to the backstory. They're pretty normal. Their parents love them, but got a divorce, anyone with his mother. He had a normal childhood and would still visit his father. That's it, really. Normal childhood, nothing traumatic other than a bit of bullying. But that was just name-calling. His right eye is blind, but that was because of an issue while being born. He has a boyfriend named Caden. At least I assume that's how you're supposed to pronounce that. On to a bit of critique for the character stuff, then we'll get on to the artwork that was sent in. Okay, so I say this in a bunch of these videos, and I know it is super nitpicky, and not that big of a deal, but I'm just going to say it. Height, 5'11", and weight, 163, doesn't give me a unit of measurements. I mean, this isn't a big deal, but from this information, I could say your character weighs the same as 163 swans, which would mean that they are 163% witch. Okay, now for your likes and dislikes. While I feel like the likes were fleshed out and gave the character a bit more of a personality, but the dislikes were a bit lacking. I felt like they needed a bit more. I mean, who actually enjoys toxicity in friendships? No one except for evil characters. So I would have gone for something a bit more deep. Maybe something that ties into his parents' divorce, because something like that would create a lifelong impression on someone. Relating their dislikes to their past will help the reader with a bit more empathy or pity. I really like this character design, and I talked about it a bit earlier, so I'll continue. I really like the fact that you can tell that it's a demon or demon hybrid, but I would have preferred a bit more work on showing that it's part elf, maybe by making the ears a bit longer or giving it a bit Lord of the Rings-ish like clothing. Then I would have preferred a bit more work on proportions, as the top half looks a bit bigger in relation to how big the bottom half should be. But I do really enjoy it, and that's all. On to Sera. Sera's age is 21. She is a female, and her height is 0,5. Her weight is 129. Her species is a dog and a human mixed together, a person with a human body but dog ears and tail. They are from a fandom, and that is from the Gacha Club fandom, and she likes food and dislikes water spray. Her favorite food is meat, while her least favorite food is grass. Then, on for her backstory. She is a princess dog who has an evil sister and a mother and father. She went into the city to see if she could find food for her parents and the kingdom, but got lost for years. Okay, now we're gonna look at your character's species first. So I just wanted to say, as a little suggestion, when making a breed of characters or something, you should always search for a specific name, because it probably already has been made, and when you are describing your character to someone, you can make it a bit more real if you have a specific name for them. So I went out and tried to find a species name. Since I was going to be nitpicking small, I did want to add something to this. Thankfully, I did find something, and it is up on screen now, because I do not think I will be able to pronounce it. It's basically what we call cat girls in anime, but can be any animal. And they have ears of their animal, and sometimes they have a tail, so it fits based off of my 5-minute search. So hopefully it helps you in some way or another. I just wanted to find a species for you. And then for your likes and dislikes for food mainly, I would have gone for a bit longer responses. When you have such a broad spectrum, just meat as your character's favorite food, I would assume that they would be a bit less human. They would have less human qualities and characteristics, and it would be a bunch more animalistic. But after looking at your backstory, I'm pretty sure that's not the case. While your character might enjoy meat, you should narrow it down. Maybe they prefer chicken. Even changing a little bit of wording can really build up your character. Now, for your backstory, I have to ask a few things. When you say she has an evil sister and mother and father, does this mean that her entire family was evil or just her sister? The wording there is a bit confusing and left me in the dust. Also, I know this is in writing class, but that could have been fixed by just adding a few commas and slightly rearranging the sentence. Then, it says that she went out into the city to get food for her parents and got lost for years. She got lost for years in a city? A city where she could have just asked for directions on how to get back home? This doesn't really make sense to me because she is a princess. Wouldn't people have gone out to look for her? Wouldn't the people around her in the city she got lost in be able to point her in the direction of the castle that she probably lives in? If you're meaning to say that she went out to get food but went into a forest and got lost there, that's a bit more believable but is still a little off. But that's pretty much all I can say for her backstory. Okay, I can tell you were trying to use a gotcha style, but maybe you should use a few more references or a base as long as you give credit. So that way you can get the proportions correct. I would suggest using a symmetry tool for the body. While it's not your best friend, it can certainly help when things are supposed to look even. Then I would work on your line art, because it looks a bit sketchy. You also say that this is a dog hybrid character, yet the ears, or at least what I can assume are those, look a bit more like horns, so I'd work on that. What is your OC's name? Zack. What is your OC's age? 16. And he is a male. His height is 5'5", and his weight is 156. He is a human and does not come from a fandom. He likes karate and adventures. He dislikes crowded areas and audiences. His favorite food is salad, while his least favorite food is pickles. And here is his backstory. On August 9th, 2011, Zack was coming home from his karate lessons. His friend Eris did something stupid, so Zack comedically slapped him in the face. As he did, a pile of leaves flew up and went to the motion that he was making. When he put his arms down, it went back to the original position. Zack didn't think much of it and went home with Eris to do extra practice. After they finished, Zack went into his backyard just to see if it was a coincidence with the wind or not. It was still fall, and from where he was, it was really windy. But surprisingly enough, the leaves on the ground matched Zack's movement. He goes to tell his other friends about his weird ability, and they ask for proof. Smirking, Zack does his tricks with the leaves. A couple of students wandering by saw and asked to see it again, and again. Until eventually, Zack gets tired and asks if he can do it tomorrow. But the students want more. They tell the teachers again and again, until Zack eventually becomes one of the most popular kids in his entire school. He considers transferring because Zack hates large groups of people. The way he gets rid of the pain is catch criminals as a vigilante. It relieves him how easy he can get this stuff done. Sooner or later, the cops find out, and surprisingly, they only give him a warning. But the other thing they was tell him about the SAF, aka the Special Abilities Force, and how he could join. Zack denies the offer and concluded his run. Later, he decides against his decline. Zack knocks on the door, worrying, and asks at the front desk about the SAF. When he opens the door, he is pleasantly surprised at everyone training. Right in front of his eyes, Zack knows he's in for a wild ride. So I really like this OC. It seems like it's been thought of a bunch, and everything pretty much fits, though there is a bit I would ask for. I would maybe a bit more likes and dislikes, as I think that would help us get a bit more grasp in the character, and you say that he dislikes crowded areas and tons of people around him, but you also say that in the backstory, so I would have either pulled that sentence out or gave him another dislike. Then for the backstory, I find the way he finds out about his powers pretty believable, but one thing I don't really understand is if the rest of the world knows about the existence of superheroes. I mean, when he goes to his friends to talk about it, they deny that he has powers, but then when people find out about it, instead of being scared, it makes him popular instead. And when the police find out that he's becoming a vigilante, they let let him off with a warning, which makes sense if he's younger and they know about powers, but doesn't make sense if they don't know about superheroes. But again, just a little bit of nitpicking, and that's all. Let's go into the outro. Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Why don't you celebrate by clicking that like button and subscribing? Because only a smaller percentage of you guys who watch my videos actually are, and it really helps a lot. If you want to send in your own OC, then click on the link in the description. My Discord's also there if you ever want to join. We have a fun community and it's really nice and not toxic. But that's all for today's video, and hopefully I'll see you next time. See ya!